Hello, I'm APX Toycat, and I'm not kidding, Mojang just fixed the single ugliest part of Minecraft Bedrock, and in the Bedrock version that really is saying something too, and so it's something I'd like to share with you, because Mojang just released a brand new preview, not for 1.26, but for their first 26 dot update, and it's something I had this whole beautiful world built for by a friend, but everything in this preview is in the settings menu, which is beautiful now, or in editor mode, and so I'll show you all of that for the bulk of this video, right after we take advantage of this beauty to show you some fun bug fixes, because that is the point of previews. So now players will hear the Nautilus riding sound at 16 blocks and the sound volume should be lower. Great change. We also have the fact that they fixed a bug where global resource packs did not apply. Great change for people who like to have a single resource pack for everything. We also have a great change for anyone who likes to breed animals, because your game should no longer crash, at least rarely, and also we have fixed a bug where the social testing screen would softlock the game. That is this screen right here. Ooh, it was a little laggy, but it didn't crash my game, which is very, very good news. And of course, to wrap things up, we have this classic, fix the freeze when buying a realm on Nintendo Switch. Okay, that is the entire use we get out of this world, because the big change I want to start with is obviously the new settings menu. Now, it's worth pointing out the settings menu can be different based on where you load it up, but now it should look like this rather than this. Oh my god, every time I look at this again, I'm reminded just how bad it is. Like, surely this made sense for a mobile game back in 2013 maybe, but for a modern game available on consoles and PC, it's just so bad. Genuinely, looking for any option you want to takes so long because they made them spaced so far apart, and it's just genuinely not a nice to look at menu. This is a reminder of some of the old legacy code in the Bedrock version, and I'm so glad to see it go. And importantly, to see it replaced with this, where as you can see, all of your options are visible at once. There's no massive scroll if you want to find your options. You can go straight into video without having to scroll all the way down. You can do the same for things like creator, although this is still in the old UI once you do click it. But now they've moved the overall design of the menu into the new system, which is really, really intriguing. However, as you can see, despite this, certain areas of it will still use the old design, such as the controller settings, etc. This is a really, really interesting decision, and it means that we still have a weird mix of the two menus, but this is, in my opinion, the turning point, the point where the design of the menu actually makes sense for the most part, and I have to really say for the most part here, but still really, really great news. So this is the great news about the preview. I also forgot to mention last week, by the way, it seems as though the UI scale for the menu has also been scaled up, which means that you can actually see your preview menu looking like this, whereas most people who aren't playing on a 4K screen will actually previously have seen their screen look like... I have no idea, actually. Okay, so this is the setting. It's called accessibility:video. It's found in video, and the UI scale modifier is now available at 50% regardless of your resolution. So 100% is the default. This is still the kind of ugly, blocky, massive menu that you're used to before. If you want to see Minecraft that looks like a mobile game, that is your option. And honestly, you can see why that still is considered the 100%. But if you want to scale things down, there is both 75% over here, which is a bit more bearable, and 50%, which I think is where most people want to be. This is a really cool change to make this the default for many platforms, and it's a sign that Minecraft is actually improving this user experience in a way that I personally at least appreciate. Anyway though, that's everything I can show you from inside of the game itself, because now it's time for the fun part of the changelog, because it does seem as though Minecraft are adding one of the most popular features from a third-party tool called Amulet that recently went paid to use. They're adding that into their base game via editor, but that means we need to leave this world and instead open the world in editor mode. Editor is a game mode beyond creative, which is directly accessible from the Minecraft launcher now, which is designed to give you game engine style tools to work in your Minecraft world with the idea being that people can make better and cooler things with it. And so there are two brand new tools they've just added to all of the ones that have come out over this time, and those two brand new tools are one that is great for long-term survival, chunk pruning, and the second which is great for creators, which is of course the ability to do cinematics. And so what's fun about this is that as someone who makes cinematics and videos inside of their long-term survival, I decided to import import my Let's Play world, the marketplace copy, in here to the preview, where as you can see, we can now fly around and look at it in this form, but most importantly, where I should get the most value from testing these features. You see, chunk pruning is something that I've seen a lot of Java creators do for a while now, basically as a way to make sure that they can enjoy new terrain and new stuff near their base. And when you have a world that's kind of as messed up as mine is, you can actually see the argument for chunk pruning being very clear. And so what if we took this section of the world right here, this weird ocean that has some taiga next to it, what if we decided to replace this with brand new fresh chunks? Well, right now you'd have to use an external tool, but as of this next preview going into full release, we should be able to just go to World, and then Chunk Management, and then in here, select our start coordinates, which is minus 278, and according to this bottom left number down here, minus 254. Okay, so we'll do that. And then our endpoint will have to be the other side of this. I guess that'd be minus 432, but we'll go minus 400, just to be safe. And now what we can do is, if this works, and I'll be clear, this is a big region. If this works, we should be able to... No, it's bigger than the maximum. Okay, I'm going to guess that 100 is the limit then. So we'll go to 378 by minus 350, and we'll see if we can do that. No, it's bigger than the maximum. What is the maximum? Apparently that is something you need to know about. It doesn't say inside of the game, so I'm guessing we'll have to just go down to like 300 and then down to like 320. Okay, can we add this region? No, something is wrong here. There's no way that's bigger than the maximum. Oh, it's because you... Okay, no, I'm just dumb. You have to do the coordinates in order, which is small to large, but negative 400 is smaller than negative 278. So it's a brand new tool, so it's a little temperamental, but there we go. We can now see the area of my world that I've just decided to set out for regeneration. You can see that we should probably go a little bit further, at least on one of these axes right here, so that's what we'll do. And you can see that, like, yeah, that looks much better. And now we can decide, let's regenerate those chunks. And so it's going to delete everything in those old chunks and generate the terrain as if it was fresh today. It is surrounded by terrain from, like, 2014 or 2012, but what does 2026 terrain look like in the middle? Let's find out. Okay, this operation is permanent, but this is a copy, so it's fine. This is chunks being processed. And again, it will lose the old chunks, delete them permanently, and then reload the region, which will make it look like... Well, it's 99 chunks, apparently. So it does take some time to do, especially if you picture even bigger areas. But you can see that my ocean is slowly being replaced chunk by chunk by brand new terrain. And apparently Minecraft has decided that if there were to be something there today, it would be a bit of jungle, and then nothing, and a ruined portal. So that's kind of cool. If you wanted a ruined portal or another equally important structure, you'd be able to do that this way. There seems to be a random chunk of stone nothingness here. Again, I assume that's a bug or something. Oh, no, it's gone. So there we go. You can now regenerate terrain, which is really useful for, say, over here, I've got a trial chamber that partially generated correctly and partially not. If you've never seen it, let me just fly through. This is a trial chamber that has massive walls next to it, and that's because this chunk generated before the trial chambers came out, and this one came out afterwards. It's a weird thing about how Bedrock generates chunks, but we could just regenerate the entire trial chambers by simply picking a big enough area. So let's do that, actually. Okay, so we deleted the previous chunks. Now we put this one in, and now we can regenerate those. And what's going to happen is we will lose our surface terrain and all of the builds we made here. If you look, you can see I've actually got a delightful little house from my project to have a house every 500 blocks in the inner part of the world. But now you can see that if it were to generate today, I wouldn't have a tiny tiger, which is a shame. Look, I got like a sad little jungle tree instead. But what I would have is presumably down here under the ocean, a fresh and functional trial chamber. Well, I don't see it yet. Oh, there we go, there we go. I have a fresh and functional trial chamber, complete with brand new trial spawners I've never used before, and indeed complete with no bedrock walls anywhere, or deep slate walls to be fair. So yeah, that is a really cool feature, and it's very, very powerful for the sorts of things where if you want to take an existing world and regenerate the chunks, there's now a built-in Minecraft way to do that, which is really, really cool. I would say this is dangerous and powerful, and do not do this on your long-term survivals. But if you're the sort of person who's like, yeah, it's either regenerate the world or give up, and so, it's effectively a gone world anyway, then maybe you would enjoy doing it this way. Speaking of enjoy doing it this way, do you see how weird the house looks from this distance? There's some weird ways that this renders, but speaking of weird ways to render, let's talk about the second cool feature that is found inside the preview, because now we have cinematics. This is basically the dolly cam that certain other machinima tools have. It should allow us to do some really cool stuff with kind of fixed camera points around our world. Again, similar to Replay Mod, they're building all sorts of Java tools that are third-party into the base game, and let me show you a cool example. So I'm going to tell the game to do a linear camera movement from here at timestamp 1 all the way over to should we say like by our house? I think that's a logical place, right? Let's move the camera all the way to over here, but then let's also tell it to be facing my house itself. So we'll look over here, let's say. I want to make sure the straight line between these points doesn't go through anything. But now by simply setting this as a second point, wait, what? I'm going to add a second point right here. And I put the timestamp for this to be 5. Now I can tell the game to move smoothly between those points, between 1 and 5 seconds. Which means if we preview this, which I can easily do once I work out what we have done wrong. Okay, adding a third point fixed this. Let's show you what this cinematic looks like now. Again, with excluding the tiny bit of lag, you can see how beautiful this cinematic shot of the world is. I mean, ignoring that random green line that is seeming to have some issues. But you can see, like, oh yeah, this is really, really cool, actually. Seeing the world from very pre-planned angles like this, being able to do cool shots that are moving like this is going to be incredible for, you know, again, camera control is already something you can do quite well with commands, but to be able to do it just like this inside of the game engine, kind of spatially, allows you to get such cool shots of the world that are done perfectly smoothly. Something I've mentioned before that a lot of people find fun is that I've spoken to many people who play on the Java who specifically will get the controller key mapping just because controllers allow for smoother inputs than key presses do, and so it's kind of cool that you can also do that like this. Okay, so as you can see, that was pretty good, but I think we could definitely improve it. So let's now do a really fun shot of the world. And let's do that by having multiple points around it at different second points. Okay, here is a fun little tour of my world, but through the cinematic tool. There are some slightly odd things happening here, such as, oh, I do not know why I'm spinning like this. But you can see around the world at hyperspeed and then hyper slow speed. There seems to be some odd, like, midpoints in between my points that I've set up here, but you can see, like, oh yeah, this is a really cool way to look at a Minecraft world, and it's all possible thanks to the Minecraft preview. And so, it seems we got a beta and preview that focused on settings and indeed the editor, and what's interesting is that the Java snapshot that came out this week basically did the exact same. It did bring into the game an in-game rules changing screen. This is what I think Java needs. Bedrock has had it forever. It's really cool to see that over there, and you can kind of see that, like, yeah, the first drop of the year for Bedrock 26.0 is really going to heavily focus on just the niceties when it comes to subtitles and better menus, and honestly, I'm all here for it. As to the other big questions I'm sure you have, are we at the end of betas yet? I would say, probably not. The last beta is usually smaller bug fixes, just a couple of those. I could easily be wrong though, and that means that we should expect to see 26.0 probably finish in a week or two, so that's pretty good news. And as to the final question I'm sure you have, after watching me look around my world with regenerated chunks, am I going to do this in my world? Well, I certainly think there is a 0% chance I ever do this in my Xbox 360 size part of the world. This is basically my preservation district at this point, but I really, really like the quirkiness of that terrain. I could see myself if I'm thousands of blocks away from spawn and it's ruining something that is meant to be there solely because I flew through it a few years ago, I could see myself deciding to at some point, but personally I would say that unless there is some crazy change, say an end update on the way, which maybe this is hinting at, but I think unless there is some crazy change, I don't see myself using it right now, but I would love to be wrong about that. Speaking of ways I'd love to be wrong, did you know we got a week extension on the Creo card, which means that if you don't have one, I'd love to be wrong about that, but you have a few extra days to get one in exchange for less signing time. Go to creocards.com/ibxtoycat to get your limited edition collector's card right now. It is a very fun thing that you can do, just like how we have all of these new features in this preview, and yeah, I am very excited to see next week more of the direction for for 26.1. I assume they're going for like an on-off week or maybe once every month. I'm really curious about the direction of the broader drop because we haven't really seen it this week, and so keep your eyes peeled for next Tuesday. But otherwise, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.